What up, guys? Your boy Quake back with a brand new episode of the Diverse Mentality Podcast, number 370. And there's really not a lot of news. It's just one big Ja Rule incident that happened. And I had reported on it, and I was going to add that clip to this podcast episode like I do. Sometimes I report on things a little bit earlier ahead of time, and then I just add it to the podcast episode so it's in a full episode. Some people like to consume it like as a full episode versus just like clips of news, right? So I was going to add that I uploaded on the main channel, but there is some misinformation or information that I got wrong on there. Not really misinformation, just some information. Well, some of it's misinformation, but actually one thing's only misinformation. But the rest is kind of just assuming a little bit of things, like alluding to things and thinking about, this might have been it. Because at the time it was fresh, it happened that day. But as the days went on, and as I got contacted by a few people, it was very clear as to who was involved, why it happened, blah, 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 blah. So I'm going to talk about that a little bit later, and I'm going to clean up that clip from the main channel on the podcast here. So you'll see me in different clothes if you're watching me on video, and that's like the initial first report of it. But, I'll add in right now the new information and Ja Rule that went live actually today. He went live to address the whole incident of him getting attacked. So we'll talk about that later in the podcast episode. There is some other news, but I also want to talk about my main YouTube channel finally getting back to normal because I knew something was wrong. It just didn't make sense to me that the views on my channel were so low. This year, I think in total, I've gotten like 3.5 million views in total the whole year, which is the lowest I've ever had. I usually average anywhere from, I want to say 10 to 15 million a year in views, somewhere between there on the main channel. To go from that on average every year to 3.5 million, the year's almost over, clearly something was wrong. I noticed that, and I ran into this lady's video. I actually want to shout her out right now because she saved my whole channel, because I think this is what's fixed it. I'm not saying this is 100% the reason, but I would be willing to bet this is the reason it got fixed. So let me see here. Her name is on YouTube, Natalie Nicole. Let me see. My eyes are horrible. Nataleh Nicole. Nicole. So that's her YouTube channel. I randomly ran into her video. It was like just God just sending me this video and saying, "Look, this is this answer to your problems on your YouTube channel." It was the most random shit. You know what's crazy? It was Vlad TV's guy who books him interviews. He had dissed somebody and like on Instagram, and me being nosy, I just randomly like scrolled. And I was like, why is he posting this random photo? I read the caption. I went on that guy's channel, and that guy was reacting to her video. And that's how I found out about it. So I went into her video and I was like, wait a second, like this is probably the answer to my YouTube views problem. And this is the crazy thing about YouTube, right? They just randomly introduce new things, and it could completely destroy your whole views on your channel, and you wouldn't even know it. Now, usually I'm up to date on like what YouTube puts out, like new features and stuff. I have to be just to kind of remain relevant. You got to like update every year. Social media changes and all these platforms change. You got to be able to adapt. So at that time, though, when they announced this feature, obviously my dad was really sick. He was battling cancer and basically on his way to dying, So I wasn't paying attention to YouTube. That was the last thing on my mind. So it was rolled out in December of 2024. So you got to think this whole 2025, as that's rolled out, I just realized I'm not getting views. I dropped Drake versus Kendrick Lamar, who really won. I'm assuming at least 500,000 views on this. There's no way it doesn't at least generate 500,000 views. It just makes no sense not. Release it, 150,000 views total. I'm like, what the fuck? How is this happening? Like, how is that such a low view? And then I shift the content, which I could use that as a blaming factor too. Be like, okay, I did documentaries and then I shifted to artist interviews. That could be a huge issue, right? But I'm like, listen, these artist interviews isn't far away from the content that I'm typically doing. It's not like I'm interviewing, I don't know, some fucking random guy talking about, I don't know, calisthenics or some shit. I don't know, just some random shit or somebody cooking or some, random content. This is hip hop. And it specifically is G-Unit, which a lot of my audience is. I do a lot of 50 Cent, Shady Aftermath, Dr. Dre, that type of like G-Unit content. So how is there a drastic drop in views in this type of content? Because you got to think, you could blame it on the names, right? Hot Rod and DT aren't that big of names, right? They're not names that will get insane attention. I get that. But Young Buck is a name that's big, compared to them, right? So I drop a Young Buck interview, and the best I do is like 40,000 views on one video, which is great. 40,000 views on one video. If I was averaging that on the whole Young Buck interview, I actually wouldn't have a problem with that, because if you look at like Vlad TV's, he's got 6 million subscribers, and you'll see some videos, they only get like 30, 40,000 the first day, or 20,000, or, whatever the case may be. So the first day, if you get 30 to 40,000, that's actually really good. That's, 50,000 views on a clip like that. That's a 6-5 minute, whatever clip. That's fine. I'm totally fine with that. But I was getting like 4,000. If I was lucky on a clip, I got 10,000 that day. I was like, what is going on? There's no way. It just doesn't make any sense, right? It's my niche type of like fan base as well. There's no way. And then I do the Hot Rod one, and it completely plummets. I mean, there's some that I barely got 1,000 views that day. I'm like, there's no way. Like, some of the content, I get it, right? Hot Rod talking about David Guetta and his tour around the world in Europe. Okay, some people might not be interested in that, or, Hot Rod talking about his upbringing in life, or DT talking about his upbringing. I get it. Those type of topics, I wouldn't expect him to perform that well. But having topics of like Hot Rod getting tested by 50 Cent, or Hot Rod getting kicked out of the 50 Cent mansion, or all these like little cool stories, like you would expect at least 50,000 views to 100,000 views, somewhere around there. That's what I was expecting. Nope. All of them maybe got 5,000, 10,000, like really, really low numbers. Same thing with DT. But on the other social media platforms, I'm doing numbers. DT is getting 600,000 views. Buck's getting 500,000. Hot Rod's getting 300,000. Like all these other platforms, I'm getting views. So clearly on YouTube, something was going wrong. And then I ran into that video. It was the AI auto-translate bullshit that they activated. And I talked to a YouTube rep, and they wouldn't admit it. They would, of course, they're not going to admit it. Why would they admit that they were the reason my channel was slowly dying? Like, why would they admit that? It just wouldn't make any sense. They don't want to take blame for something, because then I can point the finger and be like, hey, you guys are ruining my income. You guys are ruining a lot of stuff that I have to rely on for this channel to do well, They didn't admit it. They said, oh, it could potentially be this. I was like, whatever, guys. Like, you guys aren't serving no fucking purpose here. They had little recommendations. I get it. But yeah, I shut that AI stuff off, dropped these Sha Money clips, and all of a sudden, each clip right now is starting to get 40, 50,000 views in a day. Like, there you go. And now I'm finally gaining subscribers and actually growing. The channel is actually in the green. Like, I'm seeing green check marks on the fucking channel, which has been this whole year. It hasn't been that. So I'm like, clearly something with that AI stuff had to do with the channel that it messed it up. Clear as day right now. I could drop the next Sha Money clip and it could get 100 views or 800 views or 1,000 views. I understand that, especially with topics. Depends on the topic. But it just didn't make any sense to me. That low of views was ridiculous. So I'm hoping this officially got fixed. I have a documentary coming up, and I'm hoping, because I did the 50 Cent Bitcoin documentary as well. That only got 37,000 views. That's it. Usually like 50 Cent documentaries for me at least bring in 200, 300,000, maybe 400,000 views. I get that content topic is a little bit different, but still, like, if anything, that should have been pushed more, because it's more safer content. There's no violence in it. It's just talking about finances. Album sales and finances. That's all that video is about. I get it. Maybe my audience wouldn't be interested in that, but it should be able to be pushed more, because it's more ad friendly. So yeah, I'm only talking to you guys about this because if you guys are content creators, or if you guys are struggling on certain platforms to grow your content, there are things you can do. Look up things. Look up new features that these platforms activated that potentially could be destroying your page, especially on YouTube. And yeah, like, it's crazy though. You have to be aware of these things. And unfortunately, these companies, they won't ever admit that they're the ones that are doing stuff that are just destroying your channel, because they just will test out things. And if your channel gets impacted by it, they could care less. Their last worry is about some random YouTuber. To them, it's like they're making a shit ton of money regardless whether you're getting views or not, So you have to take it into your own hands. And I'm glad I ran into that video, man. It was the most random shit ever. But it literally changed, I think, the channel night and day. Now you can look at the channel and it's getting not very insanely good views, but it's getting back to what it was. And this whole year has been just horrible for me. It's been my worst year on the YouTube main channel ever. And financially, actually, I had I was struggling a little bit because I ran through my savings. I ran through a lot of stuff just because it was really, really destroyed. Like I was barely bringing in any type of revenue, and I got bills that are, a good amount over here. So, yeah, it's just crazy, man. So I'm glad that, things are looking better. I hope they stay better. We'll see. But right now they're looking better. And, yeah, I just wanted to go over that, kind of tell you guys that, hey, the channel is there. I'm dropping content. If you're not aware, check it out. It's there. I'm always dropping content. I even got comments when I shut off that AI translate, like literally the next video. Oh, Quake finally remembered his YouTube password. I'm like, bro, I've been dropping content this whole year. For some reason, not getting pushed out. Now it is, it seems like. So that's the cool part. But yeah, I just wanted to go over that, talk about it, and kind of let you guys know what's going on with that. And hopefully things are getting, fixed in the situation. I remember somebody commenting on the Spotify comment page. Shout out to you. Hey, it might be old content. That's why you're not getting views. Because I'll cover like Drake versus Kendrick. It was a year old by the time I covered it. But I can cover old topics and still get views. I mean, a lot of beefs I've covered were like in the 90s and early 2000s, and people still watched it. So sometimes it's not about, the year or whatever the case may be. Usually news is that. If you're not, covering the news, something just static popped off. But I was wondering what the hell that is. But if you're not covering news like recently, then yeah, the views could struggle easily on that. You have to be pretty quick, on news in order to get views. Yeah, just overall crazy, but I wanted to go over that. And let's get into the actual news. And 6ix9ine has secured a legal win as the judge approves the sentencing delay. So we talked about this in previous episodes. In September of this year, 6ix9ine appeared in Manhattan federal court where he was arraigned for allegedly violating the terms of his probation. He admitted to assaulting a man at a Florida gym the month prior, claiming that the incident occurred because he was being taunted over snitching rumors. Me and another individual hit a person, and it was wrong, he repeatedly told the judge. In July, 6ix9ine also pled guilty to 2 counts of possessing drugs. The charges are linked to MDMA and cocaine that were discovered during a raid of his Florida home that took place earlier this year. Now, the prosecutors have asked Judge Engelmeyer to sentence the rapper to 3 to 9 months for the violations. Mr. Hernandez recidivated almost immediately, argues Assistant U.S. Attorney Jonathan Rebold in a new filing. In addition to short prison stay, prosecutors want 6ix9ine to be required to attend drug treatment and anger management. A sentence of imprisonment is necessary to reflect the seriousness of the defendant's violations and to promote respect for the law. Rebold adds 6ix9ine's legal team has managed to secure at least one win amid all of this. However, recently his sentencing was delayed after multiple masked gunmen broke into his Florida home. Yesterday, they allowed me to leave for work. People saw that I was on live stream. We have a blog talk about that. We are looking at adjourn his sentence date until January so that Mr. Hernandez can make arrangements to relocate his family to ensure their safety. His attorney, Lance Lazaro, stated 6ix9ine's sentencing is now tentatively scheduled for December 5th. So I guess, yeah, they're probably going to change it to January. So he might have set that up by himself, man. I would not by himself, but, like himself, he set it up because, that's a smart, he just signed a streaming deal. Why not run up a bag before you get, serve some prison time? I'm not saying that, he did or did not, but I would not be surprised if he did do that. But that's the update regarding 6ix9ine. Now let's get into Lil Durk, which is, it's kind of crazy that these two are back-to-back on these lawsuit and all these sentencing and all this stuff stories. But Lil Durk's trial has been derailed by a leaked courtroom photo. So the Lil Durk murder for hire trial is currently facing a lot of debates between both sides of the court. These relate to Magistrate Judge Patricia's Duane's potential removal and the possibility of an anonymous jury in the case. Prosecutors want to protect the identity and safety of witnesses and jurors, whereas the defense believes this would downplay transparency and fairness. Sadly for defense attorneys, that argument just became a little harder to make. According to an exclusive all hip-hop report, an unknown individual captured a picture of the Chicago rappers Codefendants in court and posted them online. This was reportedly during a Tuesday, November 18th pretrial hearing in which prosecutors pushed for an anonymous jury. They brought up alleged death threats, massive coverage of the case, and Durk's alleged violent reputation as reasons why. Afterwards, the photo of the co-defendants OTF Boogie and OTF DD spread online. As such, prosecutors reportedly pointed to this illegal courtroom photography as another reason to justify an anonymous jury. If they don't secure it, they argue that witnesses and jurors' identities could be subject of intimidation, safety threats, and outside influence if more folks break the law in this manner. This blatant violation of federal rules and the following widespread dissemination of the photograph underscores that an anonymous jury is only one of the security measures this court should employ to prevent improper attempts to intimidate and or influence jurors, ensure a fair trial for all parties, and protect the judicial process. Prosecutors reportedly wrote in a court filing. Lil Durk's legal team disagrees, although it's unclear if they have responded to the recent photographic leak at press time. Yeah, they have a good point, man. I think jurors in general should be anonymous. I don't know why. Like I said, I guess the prosecutors and the defendants, like the lawyers, should be allowed to know who's the jurors, but it shouldn't be public information. Like, it should not be out there. Because the reason why you allow the lawyers from the defendant side and the prosecutor side to see the jurors and the names is because, if you get jurors that are completely white or completely black or completely Mexican or completely whatever, that could influence the outcome of the case and where they're located, where they live at, because certain information in certain areas or certain, I guess, biases or whatever the case may be can taint the juror pool, right? You want people that are really oblivious to who Lil Durk is, which there are people in this world that have no idea who Lil Durk is, or if they do, they barely know anything about him. I know that's a surprise. Some people, oh my God, you don't know who Lil Durk is? Like, yeah, there's people in this world living. I mean, there's a guy that sat next to Drake at a courtside basketball game and had no idea he was famous, no idea he was an artist. I'll never forget that video. It's like it's online. And like a camera guy's going up to Drake, right? And then he's like, he taps him. He's like, "You're famous?" He's like, no, they're here for you." Drake's joking and stuff like that. But there's people in this world that are not into this world. They could care less. They don't know who Lil Durk is. And that's, there's nothing surprising about that. That's what they're looking for. If the prosecutors and defenders can look at the jury pool, they want people that don't really know about Lil Durk. At least that's what the defendants want, versus the prosecutors, because the prosecutors probably want, or maybe don't want, because it could be a bias, So it makes sense for them to get the information of the jurors. But the public, it never made sense. I don't know why. I don't know if that's even a law. Like, do jurors have to be public? Let's just say in Georgia. I don't know where this trial is. I think it's in Los Angeles. So in Georgia, yes, they have to be public, but with some important exceptions. The proceedings and the jury's identities are generally public, but grand jury proceedings and jury deliberations are not. So in most cases, the names of grand jurors are part of public record. Yeah, so some places require to be public, some don't. I think, isn't Lil Durk's in Los Angeles or like in LA, or I forget where the fuck it's at. I think it's there, right? Yeah, shooting in Los Angeles, so it is in Los Angeles. But yeah, I think none of it should be public, just for the lawyers, the defendants, and the prosecutors. That's it. Because to them, it makes sense for them to know who's the jurors, blah, 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 and make it fair on both ends, right? But for the public, I don't know why the fuck we need the jurors' names and the public information of that. That's just going to put more lives at risk, especially at this level, at this extent. Lil Durk is big, has a lot of money, could easily pay the jurors to get intimidated so that they sway their opinion in the trial and, enforce, this Lil Durk is innocent, whatever the case may be. I don't know if he's innocent or not. I'm just saying, like, it could sway the opinion on things, but we'll see what happens moving forward. Interesting nonetheless. Eminem has hit an Australian beach brand with a lawsuit, and I think it's pretty warranted in my opinion. Let's go over it. Eminem does not mess around when it comes to his Slim Shady moniker. Recently, he even decided to take legal action to protect it. TMZ reports that the rapper has filed a lawsuit against Australian beach brand Swim Shady. Yeah, you heard that right. Swim Shady. Per documents filed in the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office and obtained by the outlet, he's alleging that the brand's name is too close to his for comfort. According to the suit, he's allegedly suffered damage and injury. If it's allowed to keep its name, he thinks people might associate it with him. Swim Shady has since released a statement in response to the lawsuit. Swim Shady is a grassroots Australian company that was born out of a desire to produce stylish and effective sunshades and other items to protect from the harsh Australian sun. We will defend our valuable intellectual property given the matters are before the court. We do not propose to say any more at this time. Yeah, of course, Eminem and his like companies, they do sue, and they should. If you're building a brand, like Slim Shady and Eminem and like this, that's a huge brand. That's a worldwide global brand that brings in hundreds of millions of dollars every year. When someone takes that and kind of plays with that name to try to, push themselves, makes sense. I mean, I dealt with just recently someone taking my my Sha Money Excel interview and reposting it on their little YouTube shorts and not giving me any credit. So I just copyright striked it and removed it, because that person is taking what I've built, the hard work that I put in what I built, and repurposing it for them to grow and for them to basically have a jump start and boost in their page, which is not fair to me. I put in all this work and you can just take my content, repost it, and do whatever you want with it without giving me proper credit or anything. So that's kind of how this Eminem situation is. It's like Slim Shady. Who knows? An Eminem fan in Australia could think it's something related to Eminem. They don't know. They could be like, oh, Slim Shady? That sounds like Slim Shady. Maybe Eminem made this. But I mean, people could ask, but most people don't ask, man. They don't care. So I don't know, man. I think it's pretty valid, unless they can prove like, hey, somebody in their family's name is Shady, or they came up with a name that has nothing, like it's tied into something with their family that has nothing to do with Eminem. It just happens to be almost the same thing, maybe. Or they probably did this on purpose to get attention. Sometimes these lawsuits bring more attention to that company, and then they sell like crazy stuff, and then all of a sudden they change their name and they're still selling product because they got all these customers in. I don't know. I mean, the same thing could have happened to me with the Get Rich or Die Trying lawsuit. I had 50's lawyer basically get at me and be like, hey, don't put this, blah, 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 don't put this out. I did anyways, and they could have easily, I mean, they didn't really have much to sue on. It was fair use, but they could have, potentially filed a lawsuit, and all it would have done is bring more attention to the documentary. So I kind of looked at it from that perspective. I was like, I'll take the risk. So that could be this situation here where they're like purposely trolling to hope that they can get attention. But we'll see what happens moving forward. We'll see what happens with the lawsuit. I mean, Eminem's in a lawsuit with Meta, aka Facebook and Instagram. I mean, we can't even use his music on posts. Like you can barely use Eminem's music on posts on IG, which sucks. But that's another lawsuit. And I think Eminem sued previous times of people using his name or playing with it, or some names that were close to it. So we'll see what happens moving forward. It's still crazy nonetheless. Ja Rule got into an altercation in New York. Let's go over what happened, the footage, and the responses from Max B and Ja Rule. In New York at night, there was an event at the Barclays Center for the Brandy and Monica show. Fat Joe showed up, Ja Rule showed up, Max B, Sierra, and a couple other celebrities as well. And apparently backstage, there was an altercation between Ja Rule and allegedly Max B's crew. There is some mixture on that, if it's Max B's crew, if it's some of 50 Cent's crew. I'll go into that a little bit later. Let me play the footage for you guys, and then we'll talk about Ja Rule's response. Tasha K, who gets involved in this as well, who's a blogger, reporter, who's unfortunately reported on a lot of fake news, but she is involved in this. And then Max B's side and what he has to say about it. There's the footage. There's really not much you can see in terms of fighting. It's just really the aftermath. There is Ja Rule there. He's getting pulled back. And Ja Rule says he is perfectly fine, that he did not get jumped. He didn't get any scratches on him. And he actually proves it with video footage. So let's go over Ja Rule's Twitter profile, where he actually addresses everything that's going on. So Tasha K is someone who, gossips and talks about celebrity stuff, and she got sued by Cardi B. I'm surprised she still has a platform because she reported on a huge fake news relating to Cardi B. But she's involved in this, and she posted text messages of her getting the notification that, hey, Ja Rule got into a fight. And they thought it was at a restaurant at first, but it's not. It was at the Monica and Brandy show. And she tagged and said this about Ja Rule. During the night that it happened, she said, breaking, I just got word that Ja Rule got jumped tonight outside of a New York restaurant, which didn't happen. It was actually at a different place. I'm being told it was pretty bad. Story developing. Then Ja Rule quoted that breaking tweet and said, Tasha, why you lying on these good people? Yes, some guys tried to jump me. No, it wasn't at Say Less, which is the restaurant. And I'm chilling, smoking a joint, watching SVP with not a scratch on me, laughing emoji. She then said, she responded to Ja Rule and said, as I said, Ja Rule's story developing, bottom line, I heard you got your, you know what, beat. Ain't nobody lying on you. This is why I thought it was Say Less. They ran down on you, though. Glad you're okay. And then she posts the receipts of the video and all that stuff. She then continues and tweets and says, now, Ja Rule, you know my team was there, and I was halfway asleep last night when I got the text. I have the receipts on what really happened and the location. Up now, ready to spill some wine. I will discuss Fat Joe being too fat to help you during the fight last night, tonight on my show. The video is at the end of the fight. Ain't nobody got to lie, Craig. Tonight we discuss blah, blah, blah. So she's, promoting herself, blah, blah, blah. Ja Rule quotes that tweet and says, you like getting sued, I see. Which is a great response because Tasha has unfortunately reported on a lot of fake news. So I take what she says with a grain of salt. She just runs with whatever is out there. And those are the worst type of media people. I don't even want to call her a reporter because a reporter is someone who has integrity and actually takes their time and, researching things and not just runs to the internet the second something happens and says whatever they want to say. But that's a whole different thing. Ja Rule then posts a video of his face, and he says in the caption, believe half of what you see and none of what you read. We good over here. And here's the video. Now, from here, let's talk about Max B's allegedly side of thing. Apparently, Max B had some involvement in this. A person that was there said Max B just knocked out Ja Rule backstage. Good night. That was just a random post that was posted by somebody on social media that was there. So, of course, people ran with that. And, it was confirmed that they were there. I mean, Ja Rule's wife even posted that they were there at the Brandy and Monica show. So there's no debating on if, Ja Rule was there or not. Because initially people were like, was he even there? Was it at the restaurant? Whatever the case may be. But he was there. Then Max B addressed this, and he said this. He said on Twitter, don't tie me or my people to anything negative. We grown, we on positive vibes only. Which, he should say because he just got released. If he's already getting into altercations and stuff, that's not going to be a good thing at all. He'll go right back to getting locked up. So I hope it's got nothing to do with Max B or anybody even tied to him because that is definitely not a good look. From there, though, there is somebody on 50 Cent's crew whose IG I'm not going to post or reveal, but he posted this. Every time we catch you, this is going to happen. And it's a gif of somebody running, and he's laughing. So with 50, someone on 50's side or team posting that, there is some ties to potentially being 50 getting involved. Because if you guys don't remember, Ja Rule this past 2 weeks appeared on Carmelo Anthony's podcast and basically said that 50 is just a copycat. He stole his whole style, whatever the case may be. He did give somewhat props and said you can, love both artists, not a big deal. Maybe 50 didn't like that at all in the interview, and, somebody ran into him and just decided to do something to him. I reported on that. Check out that video. It's just me going over the actual facts of what Ja Rule is talking about. As I'm recording this video, 50 Cent decides to respond to Ja Rule getting attacked. And on Instagram, he posts a photo of himself. And in the caption, he says, now, who would do a thing like that? Just punched him all in his milk dud head. LOL. And that is funny because, Ja Rule is bald. And there's that funny meme of that guy holding milk duds. And then he points it in front of somebody's head that's bald. And they all match. And I just instantly thought of that when he said that. It was a really, really funny caption. 50 just be having some random captions that are hilarious. But that's 50's response to that. And, not incriminating anybody or anything like that. Just a funny, hilarious response. All right, so I want to add on to the Ja Rule stuff that I've talked about so far. And what I'm going to talk about right now is clarify a few things. So 50 Cent on Instagram made that joke about, Ja Rule getting smacked or punched in his milk dud head. And as the days went on, it was very clear that 50 was the one that had something to do with the Ja Rule incident. And it was not Max B. Very clear as day, not Max B. He had nothing to do with the incident. Fat Joe was there and knew what was going on and kind of, depicted, hey, these are 50's people. And 50 was all the way in London. So he wasn't like physically there, but yeah, ran into Ja Rule. 50's people stomped him out for the most part. That's the situation. That's the kind of clarification. It's got nothing to do with Max B. From there, Ja Rule decided to go on Twitter and promote his app and say, hey, I'm going live on my app to, address the situation of me getting jumped. He said, I'm going to go live at 1 p.m. for my Icon Live platform to talk all about it. Oh, and I almost forgot, 50 Cent, shut your pussy ass up. I woke up this morning and had to laugh. Guys really tried to jump me at the Boy Is Mine concert. Bunch of laughing emojis. Then from there, saying that he actually went back and forth with Tasha K again. And he said, don't put this sucker shit on Max jacket. That man just came home. This ain't got nothing to do with Max and his people. So he made it clear that Max B had nothing to do with me getting attacked. People are saying that Ja Rule lied and said that, because I'm seeing the tweets here, right? I'm kind of reading them as I'm talking to you guys. People are saying that Ja Rule lied about him getting jumped. No, he said they tried. Ja Rule kind of changed his thing. He said they tried to jump me, but they didn't really jump me. And they didn't succeed. But people are kind of taking it as him lying and saying, no, you weren't jumped. Nah, Ja Rule just said, hey, they tried to jump me. They didn't really succeed. Now, you can debate on what happened on that. Unless like footage actually comes out, we'll see. But Ja Rule then decides to go live on his app and, addresses the situation. Let's go over it.
First things first. Leave Max B the fuck out of this, man. That man just came home, man. Why y'all try? I thought y'all was fans of Max B. Y'all trying to get this nigga locked up. Every 5 minutes, so Max B did this, Max B did that. You know that the people be watching these little platforms. You know they be paying attention. So stop putting that on Max B jacket. That's the first thing we want to do. Don't do that to Max. Big shout to the Wave. Tasha K. Fire your whole fucking research team. Just get rid of these niggas. They're terrible. They're fucking the worst research. Matter of fact, keep them bum ass niggas so they don't get hired by no other fucking body else because they are fucking terrible. Yes, it was an incident that went down. Never denied that. Niggas did try it. But as y'all see, to no avail, the boy prettier than fucking Ali in the 70s, nigga. But so I'm in the joint for about, I don't know, maybe about 45 minutes, an hour time, right? Artie was in there about that time, right? The whole night, chilling. If niggas had a problem with me, niggas could have fucking stepped to me. I'm there the whole night, chilling. Anyway, neither here nor there. It's me by myself. No, let me rephrase that. I got my nigga Artie with me. My nigga AG, my Ace Boom. So now let me just let me put it all in the frame for you. I'm 49 years old. These niggas trying to get my last good fight out of me. Now that's my wife and them saying, the old girl, they get the last good fight. But anyway, these niggas trying to get my last good fight out of me at 49 years old. Artie is older than me. I ain't gonna blow you up, Artie. I ain't gonna blow you shit up. My nigga older than me, man. And we in there scuffling with niggas, man, in our motherfucking 40s and 50s, nigga. What the fuck is y'all doing? Anyway, so I'm laughing. I got up this morning, man. I'm like, yo, niggas really tried to get at me at the Boy Is Mine concert. And you can't make this shit up. Anyway, so I'm walking. I get my microphone. Now, let me finish framing it for y'all. Max B and his whole crew is right there by the stage. Max B is on the stage at this time. They called me because I'm going on right after Max B. Brandy and Monica do an in and out kind of set. So Monica's still on the set at this time. Brandy's about to take the stage for her part of the set. I'm going to come out on that like that. So it was going on like that. Anyway, they bring my mic to me. Artie is going to get me a bottle of water at the time, to wet my whistle before I go on stage. He's going to get the bottle. I get the mic. I start walking to the stage. Niggas sneak me. Niggas snucker punch me from behind. 3 niggas tried to motherfucking sneak me. 3 niggas. 3 punk ass, bitch ass niggas. And I'm just saying, it happens. It can happen to anybody. Shit happens to players too. Shit happens to real niggas too. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, niggas don't get no points for that. No real points for that. Niggas tried it. But whatever. We here. It's whatever. So anyway, At that point, we scuffling. I see Artie diving across the motherfucking shit, he's grabbing the nigga. He's tussling him with a nigga. I'm tussling him with a nigga. As I'm moving, back and shit, I stumble over some shit. Fat Joe is there. Rich is there. It's just a melee. These niggas is grabbing me back, holding me back, and making sure, shit is all right, trying to get between everybody that's going on. Security's coming. It's a melee. So anyway, shit just kind of disperses and people disperse. And we make our move or whatever. So now I'm over there beefing. I'm hot, of course, because this shit just went down. So I'm screaming and yelling, calling niggas pussy. You know how this shit go. So we eventually get to moving out of the building and get to the downstairs area, like the players area where they park and shit, and then we leave out the building. Done deal. Nothing happened. Nothing more to say. Right? But here's the crazy shit that I want to address since I'm here on this platform. I want to address this. I want to address how hip-hop concerts and white concerts and country concerts and rock concerts and pop concerts are policed or secured. Like, if I was Bruce Springsteen at the motherfucking concert and get attacked in the back, you think the assailants could make it out of the building without getting arrested or something happening? See, this is how they do black niggas. Business as usual, nothing happened, nothing to see here. These niggas is animals. Crazy shit. But I digress. I drink my coffee to this.
All right, so there you have it. Basically, in its entirety, a Ja Rule addressing the beatdown or the whatever you want to call it, the jumping, the incident that happened at the Barclays Center. I want to say in my video that I talked about earlier, the first one that I released, I put a clip of Max B FaceTiming DJ Who Kid. That was an old video, like right as Max B got released. He was FaceTiming DJ Who Kid. I said it was right after the incident. I think I said that in the video. I could have not. I probably did. So I was wrong 100% on that. That was not right after the incident. That was right after Max B got out of prison and he was FaceTiming DJ Hookah. So I want to clarify that. I was totally wrong on that. That's not. So Max B has nothing to do with it. Even Ja Rule, as you heard in the video, Max B has nothing to do with it. Clearly, it's obviously on 50's side. And honestly, what I think about it is, at this age, I get it because 50 and Ja Rule are forever going to beef. 50 has a right to. I understand his anger towards everybody relating to Ja Rule, from Irv Gotti to Ja Rule to Chris Gotti to Supreme to anybody that, is on that side. I understand. They tried to kill him. They blackballed him. They basically tried to end his whole livelihood. They tried to multiple times try to kill him again after shooting him 9 times and not being successful. I'm not saying Ja Rule did that. It's the whole allegedly Supreme team. So I understand 50's forever going to hate him. He holds grudges. That's the 50's that type of person. He will hold a grudge forever. I don't think that's a great way to live life, but hey, 50 can feel how he wants to feel. That's just the reality of the situation. He is a grown man who, has dealt with a lot of trauma, man. So I don't blame him for being like that. I would, for somebody like a Ja Rule who had a role in potentially ending my life, I would forever hold that grudge. There's no debating on that, right? There's no, people on that end, I just would never rock with. And if I ever ran into them, I don't know if it would be on site, but whatever the case may be. So people are saying oh, you're too old to be doing this, 50. It wasn't 50 that was there. It just happened to be some of his crew members. They probably saw him and just said, hey, let's try to stomp this guy out just for the heck of it. I don't know. People are clowning Ja Rule about the views on here. It's from his Icon app, so it's not, the views weren't really high. It was like 76 people that viewed him live on there. So, it's not like he was on Instagram because people are saying, oh, on Instagram Live, to go live, and only get 76 views. That's crazy. So it's, different platforms, so I understood that part of it. But, yeah, basically said Tasha K has bad sources, and I don't really rock with Tasha K. I think she's a bad person in media. She doesn't really, like I said, she doesn't really check her sources that well. And it's rare that I make mistakes. I'm surprised I made a mistake with that Max B clip. I saw somebody tweet it, and I was like, this looks like it just happened. But I was wrong on that end. So on my end, at least I can admit, hey, I'm wrong on this side. I'm fixing it. But yeah, Tasha K, I don't rock with her at all. She just spews negativity all day, 24/7. It's never really anything positive. It's always gossip. It's always bringing somebody down. It's always, that type of stuff. So I'm just overall in this situation, The funniest thing was the milk dud head. You know, I don't know if you guys seen that gift that I talked about earlier, but that shit is hilarious. It is what it is, man. I think these two are forever going to be beefing. I think now Ja Rule is going to move a little bit different now when he goes out certain areas in New York. That if he runs into some 50s team again or people around him, he's probably not going to move so lightly. One thing that he also said that I think is hypocritical is Ja Rule saying, why weren't the security or police helping me when I was getting attacked? But Ja Rule literally has accused 50 Cent of being a snitch and working with the police, and he had to order protection. But when something like this happens to you, you're like, yo, where's the security? Where's the help? Where's the police that's helping me? You know, I get Ja Rule's point in saying that, hey, if I was Bruce Springsteen in a different, genre of concert, police would investigate and do something about it. But you said you're that street guy. So street guys don't worry about security or, people getting charged for attacking someone. You're street, right? You're from the streets. You don't deal with police. So that's a funny thing to say. It's funny how he flips it. Oh, yeah, I'm this big superstar. So why if I'm getting attacked, why aren't police looking out and trying to figure out who did something to me? I mean, isn't that snitching? Isn't that, working with the law enforcement? This is something you accuse 50 Cent of for decades. But yet you say that. I get it, though. You're 49 years old now. You don't want to deal with this stuff. You're older now. Back in your 20s, you could say, yeah, I'm a street guy. Fuck this snitch who's doing all this. But now that you're older, you want more peace. But, hey, man, you spoke that street life. You said that street. So you can't really backtrack on that and be like, oh, where's the security? Where's this and that? That's kind of interesting. That's the only thing I've found out of this. That was really kind of hypocritical. That doesn't make any sense to me. But, hey, it is what it is. Ja Rule addressed it, and that's the best thing that you could ask for, somebody addressing the whole situation. He did, I don't know if he got beat badly. It doesn't look like it, at least in his face. He looks pretty fine. I mean, he said what's funny is he got snucker punched. I think that's what he said, snucker punched, which is a word that I've never heard before. That's the first thing he says is snucker punched. Sucker punched, Ja Rule, sucker punched. But he says he got hit in the back of the head, so he's probably got a little lump in the back of his head maybe if he got hit pretty hard. But, yeah, I was told he was yelling out, what is this? Who are you guys? What's this for? He was yelling out as he was getting hit, which is kind of hilarious when you actually think about it. Man, what is this, guys? What are you guys doing? That Ja Rule voice. Baby girl, put it on, man. I don't know why I like saying that. But, yeah, man, crazy, crazy stuff. That beef is never going to end, 50 and Ja Rule, but that's the update. Let's get into Complex's list that they made of the top 50 best albums of the 21st century. I'm not going to go over the top 50 list, a complete top 50 list. We're going to go over the top 25. And to be honest with you, I don't know, man. I think this list makes sense to me to a certain extent. I'm not really mad about the list to a certain extent. I think I understand some of these placements. Some things I'm kind of upset about, but for the most part, it makes sense. So it starts with Jeezy at Let's Get It, Thug Motivation 101 at number 25. I can understand that. Jeezy was a force to be reckoned with. That album definitely changed the landscape, at least in Atlanta, a lot for the time being. So I can understand it being in the top 50, in the top 25, actually. Bad Bunny, I don't know that album. I never listened to it. I can understand maybe Bad Bunny, probably in Latino world, and then maybe in America, mixed it, whatever, cool. Travis Scott, Astroworld, I don't really listen to him, but I guess, yeah, Travis Scott is a huge, huge artist. I mean, that's no denying that. XXXTentacion, the Question Mark album. Like I said, it's XXXTentacion, Pop Smoke, Nipsey Hussle, Juice WRLD, and even Lil Peep to a certain extent. We're going to be the new sound for music. Nipsey, I get Nipsey has been around for a while, but he was just starting with his career. I think he would have been like the Jay-Z of today's time, with the business talk and all that. Pop Smoke would have been kind of the 50 Cent gangsta stuff. Juice WRLD and maybe XXXTentacion could have been the Kanye West / that type of there's certain ones were filling certain spots, and we lost XXXTentacion, and he was making great music, but his album, I think I listened to it. I think it's a really great body of work. I don't know if it's in the top 25 of all time, but hey, a lot of these new artists you're gonna hear me criticize a little bit, but because I still don't know the effects of it, right? A lot of these projects, you can look at the effects of them because it's been 10, 15, 20 years, to this, 25 years because 21st century, which started in the year 2000. So some of these have more of a, time span to show their effects of stuff. Next is Jay-Z and Kanye West with Watch the Throne in 2011. That's number 21. I guess that's fair. Drake, Nothing Was the Same at number 20. I think this should be higher, but it is what it is. Eminem, The Eminem Show at number 19. I think that album is actually his best, or at least top two. For me, his best album is Relapse, but it's up there. I can understand Eminem Show being there. Number 18, Ghostface Killah, Supreme Clientele. I understand that wholeheartedly. Number 17, Beyonce, Lemonade. That was crazy when it dropped. I understand that, I guess. SZA, SOS. I don't know why this is so high, but it is breaking all kinds of records, and that's at number 16. Playboy Cardi, A Whole Lot of Red. I never understood this guy. I don't understand I can't deny the crazy 16-year-old liking his music. I get it. He has like a hardcore fan base like that, but I don't understand what this album would do down the line. We'll see if it does any impact, but that at number 15 is way too high. This should be like a number 40 or something like that. Number 14, Kanye West, Yeezus. At the time it came out, a lot of criticism, but a lot of the sound, a lot of artists started using down the line, so it did have much of an impact. I get it at that number. Number 13, Future DS2. I think this should be in the top 10. I think this really changed the landscape of music a lot. A lot of people were we literally had a clone of Future with Designer, which was crazy. And I just remember DS2 when I moved here to Atlanta, like everybody was listening to it and it had a huge impact, man. Future was just on a roll with the mixtapes. It reminded me of the 50 Cent run to a certain extent. Insane hot fire mixtapes, and the album comes out and it's an insane impact. Number 12, Kendrick Lamar, Good Kid, Mad City. I can understand that. Number 11, Outkast, Stankonia. I can understand that as well. Number 10, The Weeknd, House of Balloons. I don't really listen to The Weeknd that much, so I guess Beyonce, the self-titled album. I don't know, man. They're kind of dick riding Beyonce as usual with Jay-Z as well, and Kanye West actually. But it is what it is. Frank Ocean, Blonde. I don't really listen to him, so I don't know. I guess so. Drake, Take Care. Like I said, I like Nothing Was the Same more than Take Care, but I understand the impact of Take Care. A lot of people prefer that album. They think it's Drake's best album. I get it. I understand that. Kendrick Lamar, Damn. Being above all of Kendrick Lamar's albums, I don't know. I don't know. That's a good question. I can understand Damn and why it's there, but I just don't know. I don't know if it can be above Good Kid, Mad City. But yeah, Kendrick Lamar is there. Eminem, now this is the top 5. Eminem, the Marshall Mathers LP is at number 5. Rihanna, Auntie is at number 4, which, I guess. Number 3 is Jay-Z, The Blueprint. Number 2 is 50 Cent, Get Rich or Die Trying. And then number 1 is Kanye West, My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. So it's a complex. Kanye West's My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy is the best. Is it the best or most impactful? Yeah, the best album to come out of the 21st century. I disagree. They put Kanye West's Graduation at number 27. If there's any Kanye West album that's going to be above a 50 Cent Get Rich or Die Trying, because 50 Cent Get Rich or Die Trying is the most impactful album of the century, period, I think, ever. In this century, at least, 100%. There's so much stuff that album. I mean, you can just look at my Get Rich or Die Trying documentary. I mean, the buzz, the impact, the mixtape run, the business, the tour proved that the music still stands up. The streams are there. In the Club is the most viewed music video that was published before 2010 ever as a solo artist. Like, the impact, there's so many records broken. There's so many things done from that album. There's so many careers that got spawned. There's so many things that just changed. The only Kanye album that I put above that, if this list was it, right? And they said, hey, Kanye is going to go above that because this is their list. To me, obviously, no album goes above Get Rich or Die Trying, but just based off this list, I would put Graduation. If not Graduation, I would put 808s and Heartbreak. I would not put My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy above those two. And here's why. Graduation, first off, I think is Kanye's best album. I think, honestly, I don't throw the word classic around, but I'm very, very close to calling it a classic. It's damn near a classic to me. I don't know. I might one day just add it to my classic list because my classic list is very, very short, very, very short, and I don't really call things classic, but it's up there. It's a very great album. It's a 9.5 out of 10. I got to release the album. There's probably 1 or 2 tracks I don't like, but that's why for classics, I have to like every single track and not skip anything. So I will go listen back to the album and maybe add it to my classic list. But 50 going up against this was the dumbest move ever. Graduation is damn near perfect. So this should be above My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy or 808s and Heartbreak, because here are the two reasons. Graduation was the shift in music and hip hop. A lot of people point to that moment of Kanye beating 50 as gangster rap kind of taking the back burner and more backpack conscious rap taking the front end of things. And that's really what happened. Kanye was the leader of the sound, shifted it, and the shift came with 808s and Heartbreak. So those two albums, whether you want to say the moment that shifted it or the content that came after it, which is 808s and Heartbreak, those albums did more impact for this century than My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy did. I don't understand the insane hype of My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. I really don't understand the insane hype of it. It is a good to great album. I get it. But to this extent of it being the best of the century, I just don't understand it. I'd rather put Graduation or 808s and Heartbreak. If you're going to put Kanye as the number one of all time of the century, those are the two you put above it. That's the only thing I really wholeheartedly disagree with this list. I'm genuinely surprised that there is a list that puts 50 Cent above Jay-Z. Like, that's one super surprising thing. Like, that's rare. If they would have put I would have been furious if they would put Jay-Z's Blueprint over 50 Cent's Give It Respect Trying. That would have made no fucking sense. Because that's a lot of these platforms just dick ride Jay-Z to the point where, it's insane. So I'm glad at least Give It Die Trying is, basically there. It's almost at number one. Number two, that's their opinion at the end of the day, though. This is all opinion-based, not fact. I disagree with how many times Kanye West is on here, like Yeezus, the Watch the Throne album. Beyonce's on here with Lemonade, the self-titled album. Jay-Z's on here twice with the Watch the Throne and his own album. And then what's the top 50 list they got? I'm surprised Lil Wayne's The Carter 3 ain't on here, though. That's crazy. Yeah, The Carter 3 ain't on here. That's kind of crazy. But yeah, you got Lil Wayne The Carter 2 at number 26. Kanye West Graduation number 27. Jay-Z number 28, The Black Album. 29, J. Cole 2014, Forest Hills Drive. Number 30, D'Angelo Voodoo. Number 31, Lana Del Rey, Born to Die. Number 32, Clips, Hell Hath No Fury. Number 33, Kendrick Lamar, To Pimp a Butterfly. Number 34, Usher, Confessions. Number 35, A$AP Rocky, Love Live A$AP. I'm not going to go all these. Billie Eilish. You got all these people that dropped albums. Juice WRLD. T.I. Trap Music is number 42. MF Doom. Ed Villainy is at number 43. Nas Godson at number 45. So yeah, they only have a Jay-Z Black album as another solo, but still, they're kind of dick riding Jay-Z here. They got Eminem twice on here too. Actually, they got Eminem in the top 25, which is pretty surprising because usually they got Drake here twice, they got Kendrick here twice. Yeah, the Eminem show and then the Marshall Mathers LP. But yeah, I'm not too like this list. For the most part, isn't anything that I'm really. I get it. I can understand some of these positions, but I just don't. I never understood the hype with My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. I just did not understand the hype on this. Like, people like praise this like it's a fucking art piece, and it's like it is a great album, but like to the extent that I don't know. I don't understand it, but it is what it is. Everybody has their own opinions, but yeah, I would have if you're gonna put a Kanye album over Get Rich or Die Trying, which is the best album of this century, easily by a long shot, in my opinion. I would have put either Graduation or 808s and Heartbreak, and not My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. If you're talking about body of work, Graduation's the best Kanye West body of work. If you're talking about impact and somewhat of body of work, because I like Graduation over 808s and Heartbreak, like by a long shot. But 808s and Heartbreak had more of an impact, I think. Graduation was really like, this is where the shift of the focus is. This is the next guy that's going to really shift the sound of music. And then, then came the album that shifted the sound of music, which was huge. Like, Kanye had huge balls to do that because everybody's paying attention to you. You just beat the king of rap for the past 5 years, which was 50 Cent, dominating, having an insane run that made Jay-Z retire. But yeah, that it took like it's huge balls to say, hey, this formula worked for me, took down the king of rap. I'm number one now. I could just stick to this formula, or I can just do something completely different. That's what Kanye did, just something completely different, which is crazy. So that's even more respectable to Kanye. There's nothing you could say, man. Kanye is one of the best to ever do it, obviously. To say that he's not is ridiculous. But, if you're going to put something over Give Rich or Die Trying, I would say Graduation or 808s and Heartbreak. But that's my only really gripe with this list. I can understand these positions. Some of these projects I never really cared to listen to. Like I said, Playboy Cardi, Whole Lotta Red, SZA, SOS, Beyonce projects I don't listen to. I don't care. Travis Scott, I don't really listen to. Bad Bunny, I don't really listen to. Rihanna, I don't really listen to. So these are albums and projects that I really, really could care less about. But yeah, other than that, very good list, man. I think they did a lot of these projects justice. Nothing really I could say more than that. But I'm gonna do my own list of. No, I'm not gonna do my own list of like top best albums of the century because that would just take too much work. But like I said, I will talk about the best album. I'm gonna start ranking. I might even rank Kanye West's albums. Actually, I might do that. Might rank Kanye West's albums since he got this top spot. I might actually rank his albums. The problem with Kanye's albums is his later, like newer releases are kind of like all over the place. So yeah, I'll probably do that, but we'll see. But that's it for my opinions on that list. Let's get into new music that released. And what's crazy is I've been listening to the Eminem Smacky record that leaked earlier this year, where he's dissing Suge Knight and Irv Gotti and Ja Rule. I actually put it on my phone. I actually made an artwork for it, which is hilarious. But let's get into new music. Key Glock, A+, Lil Baby, Real Shit, Polo G, High Tolerance, ESTG, Thug Club, Ferg, Big Dog, Ken Carson, 2BA, Neo, Simple Things, Rico Nasty, Pepper, The Kid Laroi, A Perfect World, Blueface, 6'6". Yeah, Baby Tron, James Worthy, a couple of records like that. Let's get into album sales, which I'm pretty sure I think Taylor Swift still has the #1 spot. Could be wrong. Yep, still at #1, Taylor Swift, The Life of a Showgirl, 94,000 copies. That's crazy. Is anybody going to dethrone this woman? Morgan Wallen, I'm the Problem, #2, still at #2. These country artists are killing it. NF Fear debuted at #3 with 74,000. I don't really listen to NF. I know a lot of people recommended me to him, but I don't know what it is, man. Some of these artists, like, they have this, like, I don't want to say corny because that's like a harsh word to use, but it's like, I don't like the music of like, I'm in a dump and oh man, people are doubting me. And like, it's how do I fucking word this properly? It's like music that's like, it's like too cookie cutter. Like, I don't know how to explain it, man. I'm not really a fan of this type of music, but hey, he's killing it. #3, NF with Fear for 74,000. #4, K-Pop Demon Hunter soundtrack. #4. Sorry, that was #3. This is #4 with 68,000. Summer Walker debuted at #5 with Finally Over It at 67,000. Sold the first week. #6 debut is 5 Seconds of Summer. Everyone's a Star with 52,000. #7, Olivia Dean, The Art of Loving with 49,000. #8, Sabrina Carpenter, Man's Best Friend with 34,000. SZA, SOS, #9 with 32,000. Cardi B, Am I the Drama at #10 with 30,000. Going down the list, Drake, Take Care at #21 with 20,000. Tyler, the Creator, Chromomacopia, I don't know how to pronounce that. Butcher that all the time. #27 with 18,000. NBA Youngboy, Massa at #31 with 18,000. Party Next Door and Drake, Some Sexy Songs for You at #34 with 17,000. Kendrick Lamar, GNX, #45 with 15,000. Michael Jackson, Thriller, #48 with 15,000. Eminem, Curtain Call, #49 with 14,000. #50, The Gunna, Last One with 14,000. I heard Ebro call Kendrick Lamar's GNX classic. Shut the fuck up, Ebro. Shut the fuck up. No cap. You guys, like, some of y'all just throw a word classic like it's nothing. Y'all just fucking stick that to whatever project you feeling at the time. Hey, it's classic. Come on, guys. Like, have a little, especially Ebro, who's looked at as, you know, more of an OG in this game. Have a little more respect for words and don't just throw classic. Whatever, it's his opinion. I'm not going to get mad at that. That's his opinion. It's definitely not a classic, though. It is a good project. I don't know about great. It is a good project. I'd give it probably a 7 out of 10, 8 out of 10. I think I reviewed it a while ago. I could be wrong. But, yeah, it's a good project to almost great, but it's not classic. Y'all just be throwing the word classic. Like, when I throw the word classic, know that it's coming from a real place that, hey, like, this album had to be fucking perfect, essentially, to be a classic. But some of y'all just throw that fucking title on there and say, fuck it, it is a classic. But, hey, that's it. That's it for today's episode of the Diverse Mentality Podcast. As always, appreciate you guys. Have an amazing night, day. These are Spotify, Pocket Cast, all that. Stream us, video watch us, whatever the case may be. Have an amazing night, day whenever you listen to this, and peace.